I salute all man we go watch this program. Like I be tell una last time, we go talk about vaccination 2 today. So you see now somebody that way they give you vaccination, as you see for that screen. So vaccination, it currently prevents 2 to 3 million deaths every year. So about 3 million deaths every year. So that's how important it be for get your immunization or your vaccination. For 2019, an estimated 5.2 million picking them under 5 years, they be die from preventable and treatable causes. 5.2 million picking them under 5 years, they be die from preventable and treatable causes. Newborn them under 28 days, they will account for 2.4 million of picking them they be die. So picking them age 1 to 11 months, they account for 1.5 million of this picking them. And the one the way they age 1 to 4 years, they account for 1.3 million. The leading cause of this disease them, it will be now preterm birth complication, birth asphyxiation, trauma, pneumonia, diarrhea, malaria. All of these conditions then being a condition that way they be preventable. Some of these diseases and where they kill this picking them, they be a disease in the way they be prevented by immunization or vaccination. So we get immunized. So for prevent this killing of younger children, them we get things and way we do for prevent them. And the most important and the cheapest and the safest method na vaccination. Cheapest, safest method na vaccination. Vaccinate picking them, you prevent all the preventable diseases. Now you call it preventable diseases. Vaccinate, then you prevent measles, polio, and so on. We will talk about those diseases then. Adequate nutrition, they help picking not die from malnutrition. Safe water and food. I guess this one not there again for Cameroon as a whole. This one not there again for Amazonia. Safe water and food. Safe water, especially since people they drink now from well water, or people they go for days without water, or carrying a dirty water them. So this one in itself, another way where they kill most of our children then now. And they say quality care by trained health provider. So we need good hospital, which we'll not get those two now. We'll not get good hospitals. Now, if you get sick, you did die like chicken. Because you not get hospital. Our health care providers, them, with the poor condition them, within they, most of them, they not be able for even practice what they learn. If you go through this global monitoring, it will tell you a lot about immunization. So, now website that way if he help you, for tell you a lot about immunization. Okay, so the website not be able for open. Okay, vaccination now a key component of primary healthcare prevention. So, most diseases then be so for 5 diseases, we go through primary healthcare, secondary healthcare, tertiary healthcare. Primary healthcare na the way you try for make sure say that disease not first happen. Secondary now the one day we don't end for hospital, where they try for treat you. Tertiary now the one way you don't be chronic now and then they just manage you. So for primary healthcare, we talk again immunization are the most important thing for primary healthcare, most and the safest. So then we talk about nutrition, as we talk about food and safety and all those kind of things. So immunization, they say it is an indisputable human right It is a human right. Forget immunization. Every country get to make sure say it people them they be safe by providing them with this simple thing, immunization. It is a human right for be protected by your country. And it is the best health investment that money can buy. Why you go wait for make people then sick first, then they end up for hospital? That's secondary. And then tertiary, when it turn chronic, and then you get to so pay money, spend money. The country, the government go spend money for treat these people. Why you get to wait until that? Vaccines are critical. So we'll go now for talk about vaccination again. Vaccine they be critical for prevent control infectious disease. As we talk, vaccination now a global health successful story for all the amount of diseases and way it don't save millions of life that we don't save. They reduce the diseases and way it don't reduce. So we get vaccine for 20 life-threatening diseases, as I talked last time: cholera, measles, rubella, mumps, poliomyelitis, human papilloma virus. So I will discuss some of these diseases and for years so that maybe we understand how much it don't vaccination don't protect we. I did take this story towards the COVID vaccine. So I need for show now first how many other diseases and way vaccination it don't protect we from, so that we understand why we need for take we a vaccine, a COVID-19 vaccine. So you get one. The first one are cholera. My goodness, cholera. Who know about cholera? Cholera be very virulent. Means a while. Now sick way, if you get them, you go push sote all water come off of your skin. Your skin dry, your heart stop, and then you stop for breathe, and then you die. Cholera be caused by Bacterium vibrio cholerae. Now the thing that, and you get cholera now for chop way. Some person give away, the person will be in a carrier for that cholera. You don't put them for that chop. The you two chopper, you get cholera. You get cholera way person way you get that cholera, it go shit for water. Where people they can't carry them for drink, then they carry the water they drink, they get the cholera. Cholera they spread very fast. If one man get cholera for a year, within a short period of time, almost the whole community will get cholera, because of as that person get cholera, I touch anything, other person touch and put up a mouth, you don't get the disease. So cholera be very deadly and very dangerous. It affect children, it affect adults, and it kill within hours. Like talk, when cholera, you get a cholera bacteria go into your intestine, it only tell your intestine, it throw out all water. You the piece all. You remember I be explain for some my video. I be explain say they so now almost 75-85% water where human being be. So with cholera, you throw out all that water, and when you throw out all that water, you don't remain out the dry shell. So your heart is stop for beat because your blood don't thick now, and then you die. See, the example that for the water. See that picking inside that water. See other dirty them for the people that shit to, even for that same water. If cholera enter that water, the whole that community it go. Researchers they don't estimate say each year 1.3 to 4.0 million cases of cholera, 21,000 and 143,000 deaths worldwide due to cholera. See na people na poor picking that way cholera. That picking, if he survive, then it's with the help of God. Look at, he don't lose all water. See I head day. Na cholera that, and even that mommy they na in danger too. Forget her. So thank God, cholera vaccine become, and the reason that cholera don't really reduce. You get the oral cholera vaccine. So that one of the vaccine that we give and when they drink, they put on for mouth. Some picture video will be shown where they drop that liquid for the beginning mouth. So now it don't help now for prevent a lot of cholera. You get 3 different companies that way they produce them. As you see them for that picture from my back. All the 3 vaccines, then they require you to get 2 doses for full protection. So they drop them for your mouth. So each time there's a cholera outbreak, this vaccine, they will bring this vaccine and start giving for people then. So that one they tell you how vaccine they work. Because as soon as they start give this cholera vaccine for people them, the cholera they go away. Because as one man get them, if he pass the disease for the other man if he pass the disease, cholera they go away. And now you don't help me despite all that we are dirty water them now. Now you don't help me. See now the vaccine that they put out that piggy mouth. Cholera vaccine. August 2017, WHO, a paper be say, cholera vaccine get to be used in area where they currently get a cholera vaccine. They call it an endemic area. So as soon as, like I explained, as soon as there's a crisis, they bring the vaccine, they start giving for all man, and that's it. See that picking. Now you vaccine that way to get them. Obviously, cholera outbreak don't be for that area. Measles. We all know measles. Some people that get measles where they not be get their vaccination. Measles be very contagious, very, very contagious. So when one picking get measles, it pass them on to other people. The one part where it not be well talked about now how when measles affect an adult person. Person where he get cancer, then they get treatment for a cancer, or they get treatment for cancer, and then picking there for house where get measles. Once it touch that cancer person, that cancer not go kill it, now the measles go kill it. Mommy will get that hepatitis, we don't affect the liver, or papa we don't affect the liver, and it just manage for live a life. Measles, picking get measles for house, it affect that person, it die. Or mommy we dey for house because he don't old, he powerful fight disease not strong again. Picking get measles for house, it affect big mommy they die. So measles not the only problem for small picking them. We will get to worry. Measles not problem where I'm giving for anybody where his skin not strong for fight disease. When you give that measles for them, they die. Measles be very, very contagious as I talk. One picking get them, the next person, the next person, the next person. And it is spread through the cough, with the cough. Because measles, they make you be like, so you get like catarrh and cough. You begin to cough plenty. I see the cough, that bacteria, they fly. It come out. It affect other people then. As you breathe the bacteria, the virus. As you breathe the virus, you too will get measles. See that poor picking, now measles that. See nose. So measles they affect your breathing place. So now the reason that you do over cough. And then you will get all that rash them for your skin. Now picking that you see that rash them for your skin. Measles vaccine. Now the reason that measles not plenty nowadays. Because vaccination they for measles. They give us a triple vaccine. I will explain that part later. Measles. The vaccine, it will be available since 2018. There were more than 140,000 measles deaths globally. I mean, the measles vaccine has been on for a lot of years. But in 2018, you will get more than 140,000 measles deaths globally. And it will be mostly among children then. So the measles vaccine, what it do, it results in 73% drop in measles death between 2000 and 2018. Great job. So measles vaccine, they come as a triple vaccine. They call it the MMR. Measles, mumps, rubella. Now in that. Rubella, na that measles they call as a German measles. Measles vaccine say result in 73% drop in measles death. That is a big number. So you see the value of vaccine. So it prevent, say, in 2000 to 2018, or 20,000 to 2018, measles vaccine prevent an estimated 23.2 million deaths, making measles vaccine one of the best buys in public health. Like if we talk, vaccine are a cheap thing for do. You spend a few dollars or a few francs for buy the vaccine, you give them for people the way you prevent a disease where it will cost a lot of thousands of francs or dollars. Measles vaccine will be in use for 60 years, like I explained earlier. Now the oldest, one of the oldest vaccine. It don't be in use for 60 years, and it be safe, inexpensive. For US, they say cost $1 for immunize one pikin. $1. So cheap. Why don't you give it? So why you not go give your pikin? So you get 2 doses of the vaccine be recommended for give you that immunity. Immunity again, I forget that antibodies. So you get your first dose, they will give you the card, and then they will tell you when you need to come for your second dose. So in 2018, about 86% of the world's children received first dose of measles vaccine by their first birthday through routine health services, that's primary health services, in 2018. 15% of vaccinated children fail to develop immunity from the first dose. So what did that one mean? Means say you must get the second dose. No take first dose, go sit down for house. Because you don't know whether you're picking among that 15% that we do not go get the second, they not go get the immunity. They not go build that soldier then. So give your picking the second dose of the vaccine. In 2018, 69% of children received the second dose of the vaccine. Rubella, they call it German measles, because I think that some German we first discover them, or it be name them. Rubella to be very contagious, and now a viral infection as well. It will cause that rash for picking skin. So they say rubella, it own rash be red. If you see them for white man, it red, so it be hard to tell the difference with black people. They may white man, it really it be very red. And again, it will first be discovered by a German physician in 1814. So that's why they call it German measles, rubella. See them for white man picking, you see I red. Okay, so it be transmitted again by airborne, means you cough or you sneeze, the same like measles. It fly for air, another man breathe them, then you go get the disease. They say not only human being that you get them. Okay, the bad part of rubella now during pregnancy. If woman get rubella during pregnancy, especially during the first trimester, the chances say go miscarry be very high. If you know miscarry, if pikin fit still die for a belly even after it grow. So you did get pikin away, they die for inside belly. If the pikin not die for inside belly, the pikin will come out sometime with that big head or that small head or something like that. So they always come out with some condition if a mommy get rubella during a pregnancy. So deadly for pregnant woman. Rubella be deadly for pregnant woman. So rubella vaccine, it will be available again. They give them as that triple vaccine where they give them MMR, measles, mumps, rubella. And that measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. Mumps to be very contagious. I think very few of we if you remember mumps, but every now and then you get one person you get mumps. And the reason why many people don't get mumps because many people they be vaccinated against mumps. So mumps to be very, very contagious. Now a virus. When you get mumps, you get fever, headache, muscle ache, tiredness, loss of appetite. You get that your salivary gland or here under your neck. Now for the way some fine water they come up for the when you chop. Now it can make your chop be moist. It come up for something the way they did for your neck for here. So when you chop something, it will release that water. Or sometimes you don't see and like for small picking when you see fine chop, you want laugh. You see that water that they fly from your mouth. So under like sometimes under a tongue too, it fly out. Now saliva, then there's the salivary gland. So moms, that virus like for go affect those glands. So 19 at that person jaw, it big so. Because the bacteria, the virus don't go for they go affect them. See that picking we get moms. You see high jaw fat so now moms that. A person will get moms again get to be isolated because it be highly contagious. Because again moms get to stay for house. Moms vaccine again, measles, mumps, rubella. Thank God for those vaccines. 97% effective after the second dose. Lifetime immunity. So now one of those vaccines in that way, when you don't get your first dose and your second dose, now order for your lifetime, you don't need to ever take them again. Measles, mumps, and rubella. Okay, so the mumps vaccine, I'll go back. The vaccine, the first dose, you give the first dose of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine at 12 months through 15 months of age. It no means that if you take another time, but that's the best time for take them. 12 months and 15 months of age. And your second dose at 4 through 6 years. And then after that, you get that soldier then for your skin forever. They say the vaccine be safe, it be effective, it's been used for many years. They don't give them for people for many years. And you know, any man talk say the vaccine don't do something for me, it don't kill me. Yes, some people will get mild fever or they'll get some pain, but that's it. Polio. We know polio. Polio to be highly contagious. If we look around our community for Amazonia Day, we will see picking away polio or grown up them. Mostly now grown up them way polio be affect them during that time where there will be a big polio outbreak. They get a small food them. So because polio they affect your nervous system. That's like your back, your spinal cord. This thing waiting for your back, so we join for your back. And your control that just how do you explain them again? Okay, this thing waiting for your back, it help for support all your other part of your skin them with some for make you be able for waka, for make you be able for pick up this cup. So you like fine motor activity. You feel be able for pick up this cup. I feel be able for use this computer. So they call that one saying that your nervous system. You feel be able for smile and so on. Your nervous system they control all that in them. So polio be like for go affect that thing where they make you feel waka, feel do all those kind of things. So now the reason that they paralyze you. If you go for some certain area, it will make you paralyzed. Either your foot, it be mostly like the foot, the lower foot them, it make you paralyzed because it affect your nervous system. It will be spread from person to person through fecal oral route. So man get polio, he go for latrine, he go do it thing for latrine, he come back, wash his hand. He pick up small bread, he cut them, he give small picking them, they chop them, he don't give them polio. Man don't go for latrine, he don't go do eating for latrine, he come back, wash his hands since water not always there around. Pipe borne water they not there, for even get simple water they not there. The man he go for market, he sell apple them or orange them, he clean them, he give them for people them, he don't give them polio. So that's what they mean by fecal oral route. So he go for latrine, he clean himself, he not wash his hand, he carry that polio, he put them for that chop them, you take them, you chop polio. And also, again, he go shit for water. water wey all man dey drink, e get polio. Now it now will be get polio outbreak. Now picture again that for that pikin we get put them we then get polio. See, they get to walk with crutches all their life with vaccination day. So polio they mostly affect pikin them under 5 years of age. And in 1 out of 200 pikin them, most of them they end up with that small foot them, or they be paralyzed, or they be wheelchair bound. 1 out of 200, that's a lot of children, a lot, you know. And among those, 5 to 10% that they die because of the breathing muscle, then be paralyzed. So like I talk again, that your nervous system is start like this thing waiting for your back. They call it the spinal cord. Waiting for your brain, and then the tube go right down, so they go reach for your waist. Then it control all this other part for your skin. It control even the way you breathe. Now still your nervous system they make you for breathe. Once all of this be paralyzed, you know, if you breathe again, you just stiff, so you die. So, as long as one pikin remain with polio for any country, the risk of spreading polio be very high. As long as one pikin it be with polio for any country, the risk of spreading polio it be very high. So, it be necessary say polio be eradicated, and the only way for eradicate polio again I say vaccinate every child. Make you get vaccination for polio. So polio vaccine given multiple times can protect a child for life. Now in that picking the vaccine that they get polio. Success of polio vaccine. 1994, the World Health Region of the America was certified polio free. The Americas, USA, they were certified polio free in 1994. Western Pacific region in 2000. European region in 2002. Southeast Asian region in 2014. You see Africa for there? Would have been surprising if Africa be there for there. No, we are not certified polio free as yet. So the transmission of polio don't be interrupted for many countries because of vaccination. Vaccinating the people means nobody gets polio for years and years, and that country will be certified polio free. Yellow fever. All man we don't travel out of the country. Remember yellow fever vaccine. You don't get yellow fever vaccine. You know if you pass through the airport. Yellow fever. It's an acute viral infection where it cause bleeding. You massively bleed from the yellow fever, and it be caused by a mosquito. So an infected mosquito get yellow fever. He bite somebody, get yellow fever. He waka, go bite another person, get yellow fever. We not get yellow fever, he give you the yellow fever. So what did it happen? I say with the yellow fever virus, it go enter your red blood cells. It go enter your blood and your liver. It damage the blood, and then the blood burst. As it bursts open, you feel either get bleeding afterwards because it go change so many things away. It cost you for no bleed. You get blood, will start come out. You feel the vomit blood, you feel the shit blood, and then you get a yellow eye them too because it affect your liver, what they call and say jaundice. So yellow fever be very deadly because you bleed to death. And it be common for us again, Africa, Central and South America. Because mosquito like which kind of place? Warm, rainy, humid, dark. Warm, rainy, humid, dark areas, and also places the way that they create a good breeding ground for it, like all the potholes them will deliver, all the dirty water they will deliver, all the ngongong they will destroy them, all those things them have good breeding ground for mosquito. So now the thing I plenty for Africa and all these other country them. See, so it causes red fever, vomiting, back pain, red eyes, headache, bleeding, bleed even in your eyes, jaundice, muscle ache, and liver. Now picking that way get yellow fever. See that eye? A small picking to that I get yellow fever. So again, a toxin, an infected mosquito, they transmit the virus from person to person. Now in that you see that mosquito how they bite. Yellow fever vaccine be an effective vaccine for prevent yellow fever. The vaccine be safe and again affordable. Safe, affordable. A single dose of the vaccine be sufficient for grant you immunity for all your life. A single dose of the vaccine. So also, now yellow fever vaccine that booster dose not be required. The vaccine they provide immunity within 10 days. So before you travel out of the country, you mustn't take out of, like you leave Cameroon and you want come for US, you don't get your yellow fever vaccine. You must get a card where you show so you don't get a yellow vaccine within 10 days for 80 to 100% of people. Sometimes it will require 1 month for sure so you don't get the vaccine. See, so people there they go for region where yellow fever they did. Let's say that they come up from here, they want to go for Cameroon. They must get the yellow fever vaccine. You must get it. If you don't get it, then you want to take your own chances. As well as people that they come up from Cameroon, one come for here, must show proof say they don't get their vaccine, one come for US. So most countries they require that proof before they even issue you a visa. Now example that for a yellow fever vaccination card. I know if you find my own card for take a picture. You see, that person be get the vaccination November 13, 2019. You get to show that card before they let it pass. Human papilloma virus. I will discuss this human papilloma virus under cervical cancer as I be talk. So this virus now a group of viruses the way they be common worldwide. You get 100 types of this virus. They call it HPV. So I'll keep calling it HPV. Human papilloma virus, HPV. So, and you get 100 types of this, and then you get 14 out of this 100 type where they cause cancer. This one will be a development where they don't discover years ago. Now, a development where it just happened not too long ago, and which was a joyful thing. Say they find out say cervical cancer be prevented if you be vaccinated with the HPV vaccine. What good news. Excellent good news. For women them. Excellent good news for women them for no say at least something they way you feel do where you not forget that cervical cancer. So how did it transmit HPV for one person to the other? Sexual contact. So this one explained the reason why they want to give HPV vaccine for young girls them. Means say once you've got the infection, when you don't get the HPV infection, it's too late for the vaccine. When you don't get HPV, because you get a sexual contact with somebody, we don't pass on to you, because men they carry them too. Men they carry the HPV, and they pass them for woman. Woman they pass them for man. Once you don't get them, you get the vaccine afterwards. It's not useful, because the HPV, it is stay for your system. It not do anything for you. Some people then they go, I will explain, and they will get some rash and all whatnot. It go then the rash go get better, and then it will go stay somewhere in your cervical region, and after years from that you will get cancer. So they the one given for young girls them before they get sex. Now the reason that way they give HPV for girls them way they never yet get sex. They not they try for sterilize them. They try for give them before they even don't meet any man, get sexual contact. That makes sense. The virus, it is for man picking them, it is for woman. When you don't get sex, the possibility they say maybe you don't get the disease. Now the thing that way they need the one given for girls them where they already start get sex. Effectiveness for the vaccine now for girl we it never sleep with man, means the chance they don't get the disease be 0. So cervical cancer they be caused by HPV, where you be pick them during your sex. 2 types of HPV, HPV 16 and 18, now they cause the 70% of cervical cancer. Worldwide, cervical cancer is the 4th most frequent cancer in women. Number 4 most frequent cancer for women. So put me back for 16 years, 18 years, 20 years. Put me back for day. Maybe I go get my HPV. Put me back there. I will get my HPV vaccine. Put me back in those ages. So Maui the run for now, where 50 years from now you get cervical cancer. You say you will be the runner from what? You want get the number 4th cause of cancer for women, because they will bring the vaccine, you will be the run. So you don't want get them because they want to make you may not born. An estimated 570,000 new cases in 2018, representing 7.5% of all female cancer deaths. So women them at the year every time they call me back in Amazonia for tell me how some woman they don't diagnose you with cancer for a woman's skin. They don't diagnose you cancer for a woman's skin. It be very common. They will not know. Say it be very common because they die all the time. And most of the cases that they occur for low income area, middle income area, picking that they get sex early in their life. So a vaccine don't be approved for prevent you forget the most common cancer for women. You do run. Now vaccination they give her even for young girls and for this country, for USA. They give them for young girls and for a year. They don't take and go for Africa. And they read how parents they take their picking and they run, so they no one get the vaccination. Your parents are probably not they around when you turn 50, when you get cervical cancer. Studies them, clinical trials, regulatory boards, World Health Organization, CDC, they don't prove say HPV vaccine be safe and effective for prevent HPV infection, and cervical cancer. A bottle of HPV vaccine that. Now, one of the Washington state in the US, it show the amount of girls and where they don't get the vaccine. So you get, or teenagers, both boys and girls. You see the yellow, now girls and that, and then the yellow now Washington state, the amount of picking the way they don't get the vaccination for Washington state, both boys and girls, and then the blue now USA. That's a big percentage. Now, one of the articles, this one I read, Voice of America. Millions of girls at risk for cervical cancer as parents reject HPV vaccination. Cameroon says more than 9 million girls aged 9 and above risk developing cervical cancer because their parents have been convinced the HPV vaccine makes their daughter sterile. I don't make this program for convince any parent. I did just to tell you what the vaccination they do and how effective vaccination we don't be. It don't treat plenty condition them. It don't prevent plenty condition them. Measles, polio, and so on. It not going to be different with HPV. It will not be different. Not the same thing. The same thing where you don't do for the other sick them for prevent the other sick them. Not the same thing where you do now for prevent cervical cancer. The same vaccine where they give them for girls and for the same vaccine that they give them for girls and for year. So if they want to sterilize them for day, I guess they sterilize the one them too for year. Some communities that had accepted the vaccination are now refusing it, claiming that what is being administered now are dangerous experimental COVID-19 vaccine. So they even go as far as for things in a COVID vaccine. COVID vaccine don't even come out by then. HPV vaccine, like I talk, it work best if they give them before the girl gets sex, before it don't be exposed to the HPV. So now the reason that World Health Organization, they recommend 9 to 14 years old, when most of them never start get sex. 9 to 14 years old, they never start get sex, you give them the vaccine, effective. The vaccine, if you treat HPV, no, if you treat the cancer once it don't happen. Because man picking them today, they carry the HPV, some countries, as I will show you for that USA, they vaccinate boys them as well. Because you get that genital, you get the disease where they affect their private part and then they carry the disease to give them for other girls them. So they say the vaccine to prevent that genital warts, that's growth from sexually transmitted disease where they grow for people, their private parts, so we just did like some what have you described me? Like some small tumbu them where they need for the or some small swell in them, they think the way they grew around a person, a private part, because he get they call them genital warts. So this part of the video or program be necessarily be for explain for una as much about vaccination, and vaccination 3 could talk about coronavirus vaccine. So now for them we will talk a lot about coronavirus vaccine. So we'll end this program for you. Thank you.